Good morning, children. Welcome to Unit 10 of your language book, that is Verbs, Modals. Now, what are modals? Modals gives more meaning to the main verb. Second is that they cannot stand alone. And third is modal always requires the verb first form after it. Here we can take the example of he can. Now here can is showing the ability. Can is a modal, but it's incomplete. Why? Because it's not making a complete sense. Second is he can swim. Here can is giving a complete sense and swim is the verb's first form. Now children, let's understand more about modals. Modals are also called as defective verbs. It's called defective because of two reasons. Because no S or ES form for the third person singular is used here. For example, let's take for the word play. I play, he plays. Now when we use the modal can, it can. The sentence goes as I can play, he can play. Here S is not used. The second reason is that they have no ing or ed forms. Like in the verb play, we add playing and played. But for modals, we have not heard any words like canning or canned. Moving now to some of the commonly used modals. They are can, could, may, might, dare, will, would, shall, should, need, must, ought to. Modals are used to suggest permission, request, possibility, prohibition, promise, ability, wish, necessity, compulsion, suggestion, advice, duty or obligation, and intentions. Children, will study now each one of them one by one, starting with the first one, that is permission. Permission, the word used is may. May is always used in a formal way. For example, ma'am, may I come in? Second, can. Can is always used in an informal way. Example, can we go for the party now? And third, could. It's used in a very polite way. Example, could we go for the party now? Moving second now to ability. Ability is expressed by can, could, and be able to. Can is used in the present form in general ability. For example, they can speak French. Could is used in the past form and as general ability. Example, Ravina could walk when she was 1 year old. And be able to is used in any tense in general ability plus ability in a particular situation. Example here will go as we were able to complete the test on time. Moving further to possibility. So the modals that suggest possibility are may, might, and could. May suggests a good possibility. Example, it may rain soon. Might suggests a weak possibility. Example, it might rain today. And could suggests a very weak possibility. Example, Ronak could come first in the class if he was more hardworking. Now moving further to suggestions, advice, duty, obligations. The modals that suggests are should and ought to. Should is used in general suggestions. For example, we should obey our elders, and ought to is used as moral duty or right to do something. Example, you ought to help your fellow beings. Now let's continue with the word promise. Promise here, now the two words that suggest promise are will and shall. Will is used with only the first person subjects. Example, we will attend your brother's marriage. And shall is used with other subjects. For example, you shall get a new bat on your birthday. Moving further to the word request. So the modals that suggest requests are will or won't, would, can, could. Can is used in an informal way. For example, can I have some tea? Would is more polite than will or can, and it's uncertain that the request will be accepted. For example, would you switch on the fan? Could is used and is more polite than will or can. Example, could you buy me some woolens please? And will and won't, the example goes as, will you keep quiet please? Further moving to necessity and compulsion. So the modals used here are must, have to, will have to, had to, and have got to. Now here, must, it suggests that the speaker, he wants that something is done. Example, you must pay the dues on time. And have to suggests that some external authority or rule requires that something is done. For example, in the army, you have to polish your shoes every day. Now moving to prohibition. So the modals used here are must not and ought not to. Example for must not goes as cars must not be parked in front of the gate. An example for ought not to, you ought not to make fun of the old man. Next coming to wish. The modal used here is may. Example, may God bless you. Coming to next now, dare. Dare is a modal means not to be afraid to do something. It is used mostly in negative sentences and in questions. So I hope it's clear now everything to you.